and welcome to this episode of Close to Carnivore, and we are going to talk about the Portage Lakes Triathlon race recap. And first off, um, I'm going to say that parts of my training were better than average, and other parts I'm going to say I'm slightly overtrained for, like the run, but we're going to get into that at the end. However, as a whole, leading up to the Portage Lakes Triathlon, I stayed pretty much injury free. Um, I've got a little bit of tendonitis in my left hip, but it's nothing that I don't know. It would never stop me from training. It would make training sore at the end of a run, and the next day it was a little tender. I'd have to stretch it out pretty good. That being said, if you do the math, I only swam for 4 months, and I was more than happy with the way that the swim went. Let's start with the swim. Let's look at the web real quick. So we've got, for some reason I can't get this to convert to meters, but I did the swim in 46 minutes, which doesn't sound very fast, but the way that I had it playing out in my head is I basically allowed myself a minute and some, an hour and some change on each event to do each of the three disciplines. So in my head, I was shooting for 3 hours and 30 minutes, which I did. It's just I didn't realize how the first two disciplines were going to go. Now, let me explain. So in training, my best 1500 meter was like 58 minutes. It was usually more on the 1 hour to 1 hour 2 side, but a couple times I did hit that 58-minute mark. So as I'm coming out of the water, I made the mistake of looking at my watch, and I realized, okay, I'm at like 46 minutes. I'm moving along pretty good. Instantly, there was a spike in my heart rate. I mean, I could even feel that. So I get to transition one. I don't have any of the footage. My phone, we'll talk about the weather at the end. I can't get anything off my phone as far as the footage that my wife had shot. But we're working on that. We're going to put something together for after. Get into transition, and I was pretty stoked. So stoked that when we do get the footage, you'll see that I was transitioned right next to my brother, and he was standing right in front of me, and I don't ever remember seeing him. I was pretty focused on getting on the bike. And let's see, let's go back to the web. So when I got on the bike, let's look at the heart rate real quick. If you look at the front side, this is the bike heart rate. I mean, I was up to like 176 at one point. And when I come out of the water, I could feel my heart rate going up. I didn't realize it was going to be that high. So I get on the bike, I take off, and I start passing a couple people. And I felt really good. So I kept going, and I'm trying to talk myself down. And as I'm talking myself down, I'm continuing to pass people. On the course, when you get out, it's really smooth, and it's sort of a rolly downhill. And then you make this left-hand turn, and it goes right up a hill. I mean, you can't really get a good running start at it, especially in the rain. And it rained pretty much the whole time. So the first lap, I did a little too much. I kind of got caught up in the race. Instead of racing my own race, I was trying to pass people. Um, that didn't work out really well because by the end of the first lap, I was really starting to feel it. As a matter of fact, I don't have it up here, but my overall bike split, my average mile per hour was like 16.3. And I sort of blew up a little bit on the second lap. However, when I got off onto the run, if you look over on this end, everything smoothed out. And I actually hit my run time um, right on the nose. I wanted to run two 30-minute 5Ks, and I did my 6.2 in like 1 hour and some change. I mean, it was almost perfect. So, as a whole, I am really happy with how I did. Um, Going back to the swim, it was 2 laps. The first lap, I could not get any kind of rhythm going, and I couldn't swim straight to save my soul. So we're going to have to do some open water swimming if we continue down this path. Um, the second lap went well, um, but the weather was sort of um, it wasn't good. But what was odd is I didn't realize it until I watched the footage. I just remember my bike slide. I mean, I knew the ground was wet, and I got on the paint a couple times, and I didn't wreck. But anybody that's ridden a bike on wet paint, it tends to be a little bit on the slick end of the spectrum. So, uh, as a whole, like I said, it went well. Um, Moving forward, though, um, to do it again, where I got into trouble was I had it to where I was doing 4 swims, 3 runs, and 3 bikes. When I took on the triathlon that I'm doing this Saturday, I dropped one of the bikes on and I added a run. So that gave me 4 runs and 2 bikes. That does not work. I tried it. It did not. It didn't pay out good dividends. I mean, I for a 6.2, I mean, I hit exactly what I wanted. But on the bike, which for me, that's I don't want to say that's my bread and butter, but of the three, that's the one I'm most comfortable with and probably the best on. So, moving forward, we're going to adjust if there's any triathlons on the schedule for next year as far as um, sticking with that initial plan. Because the way it is now, looking forward a little bit towards this Saturday and the Akron Marathon, I'm going to say I'm a little overtrained. Um, I can tell when I wake up in the morning. I'm still going to the pool in the morning. That actually does my hip a lot of justice after a run. So yesterday I did almost 11-mile run. Go to the pool this morning. I think I swam 950. I don't have my phone with me. 950 meters. It was an easy swim. Get out of the water, feel amazing. Um, but even at that, I'm not waking up in the morning feeling as good as I did, say, in August, early August. So um, we'll see. I only have to make it 26.2 miles. I'm not shooting for any particular time. When I submitted my your sort of guesstimate as far as how fast you're going to go, I put 5 hours 15 minutes. If I'm anywhere close to that, I'm going to say 5 hours to 5:30. Uh, Perfect. It's not so much a time as it is a finish. Um, so we'll see. I think Saturday is going to be good. It's going to be very cool, which I haven't ran that distance or any of my long runs were never on cooler days. So that could be interesting. So anyway, as far as major events go after that, there is a 5K fundraiser that I'm going to do in November, That one I might actually take the camera along with me and do some. It's right here in the town I live in. It'll be worth doing that for. Anyway, that is the race recap. Again, when I'm able to get the footage off my phone, um, I'll put together a little bit of a video showing you. Again, there were times, like I said, I knew it was raining because the ground was wet, but I didn't realize, excuse me, I didn't realize how hard it was raining. That was the part that was different, to see it played back because you don't remember it that way. So anyway, that's all I have. Nutrition for the race. I did electrolyte. I used Dr. Eric Berg's. I don't know if I've even talked about that. His electrolyte powder. It's a no calorie electrolyte powder. And coming off the bike, going onto the run, I did one gel. I believe that's when I done it. I either did the gel going onto the bike or from the bike on. One gel, 3.5 hours, um, and I never felt like I hit the wall, other than my legs kind of blew apart a little bit on the second lap of that bike. But I come back and did exactly what I wanted to on the run. Maybe I should have just spent more time on the bike. Anyway, that's a wrap for this episode of Close to Carnivore. If you have any suggestions, hints, tips, drop it in the comments section. And I'll try to have the race recap footage up within the next week, and for sure some race footage from the Akron Marathon. Until next time, stay sharp, keep a tight shot group, and rock on. Peace.